Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see an introduction to folk literature. Folk literature is a collection of literature which is given to the next generation for so many years, either through oral or written tradition, and this is generally used to pass down to the next generation the collective wisdom, the cultural values and the experiences of a community. And there are so many artistic expressions included in the folk literature, like narratives, songs, rituals, and all other forms of artistic creation comes under folk literature. And therefore we can say that folk literature serves as a repository of a community's identity and worldview. The key characteristics and features are, first thing is its oral tradition. Mainly folk literature is connected with oral tradition rather than written text. And anonymous authorship means it can be either a single person or a group of people who created that literary piece, but it generally is said to be evolved through a collective storytelling. Therefore, we cannot say who is the correct author who wrote a particular story or the song. And it is a collective creation because it reflects the shared experience and also the perspectives of a community. So it is not a single person's experience, it is the experience of the community as a whole. And of course there will be adaptations and variations because these stories and songs are passed on to so many generations that often it undergoes changes and variations which reflects the cultural and historical context of the each generation which is transmitting this story to the next generation. That is, every time there is some evolution or there is some change in the culture or there is some change in the concepts. So all that will be either included or which is not necessary for them will be omitted. So when it is being passed on to the next generation, there are so many variations, and of course there are so many adaptations also. They will adapt from one story and create another story. Therefore in folk literature there are so many variations and adaptations, and so many diverse forms includes in folk literature. There are various genres like folk tales, myths, legends, fables, songs, proverbs, and of course rituals. And folk literature is something which is inspired from everyday experience, and therefore it gives a very deep insight into the values, beliefs and struggles of a community. And the examples of folk literature are folk tales. Generally folk tales are traditional stories, and they feature magical elements, fantastical creatures and also moral lessons, and generally folk tales are passed on through oral tradition. Myths are explanations for natural phenomena. Like for example, there will be a story about the origin of the world, and there will be another story about the creation of humanity. Like that, whatever is there is a myth attached to it, so that people will give due respect and value to it. And then we have legends. Legends are the stories about historical figures or events, and they will be the truth, that is, it is a fact, but they will glorify that person or the event by adding certain additions, and therefore some fiction also will be added to the facts to make it applicable and also to glorify the person or the event. And fables are short stories often with animal characters, where all, even trees will be a character, and the main aim is to teach moral lessons. And songs are generally folk songs, and these songs will be associated with specific events or traditions or cultural practices. And proverbs are short and memorable sayings that generally express common wisdom or cultural values. They will give so much of knowledge to the people because these proverbs are like guidelines for the future generation. And then rituals are something which is practiced by each community during regular intervals, and these ceremonies and practices mark important events or transitions in a community's life. And in short, we can say that folk literature provides a window into the cultural heart of a community, and it offers insights into the culture, that community's history, beliefs and values, and it also serves as a living testament to the creative spirit and enduring legacy of storytelling. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.